Welcome to the Newsman. It's my pleasure to be here again. I want to talk about a slightly different topic. Everybody's been talking about it. Wherever I go, I hear about it and I read about it. And our generation has been given a special task. We are perhaps the most special of all generations, of all dairis. We are the generation of the Ikvasid of Moshiach, the footsteps of the Moshiach. Why is it so important to discuss? I'll tell you. We had last week in Parshas Shoftim a very important pasuk, which I really wanted to talk about, because that's the topic of these shmuzim. B'tochen, Tomim tihiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. Tomim tihiyeh. You should be pure, you should be full, you should be shalem, perfect. Be perfect with Hashem Elokecha. What does that mean? So Rashi, the famous Rashi, Hishalech imo b'tamimis, go with HaKadosh Baruch Hu with tamimis, v'tetzapo loy, and look forward to only Him. Don't care about anything else that's going on. Just care about He's running the show. And if you need anything, you go straight to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, tetzapo lo. V'lo tachkor acher asidus. Don't try to figure out the future. Don't go to all listen to all the prognoses and the forecasters and everybody's puts their 2 cents in. This is what's going to be, and this is what's going to be. It's an election year. He's going to win. She's going to win. I mean, don't listen to anybody. Doesn't matter. Kol ma sheyavoy olecha, whatever happens, whatever the outcome is, whether it's your business or whatever, your personal life, your political life, the national life, international life. Kol ma sheyavoy olecha kabel b'tamimis, accept it. And then you're imo ulechelko. Then you're with a Kodesh Baruch Hu. You have nothing to worry about because you're with a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu is running the show. Kodesh Baruch Hu is taking care of you. You're in His chelik because I'm only looking forward to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's Rashi, famous Rashi. There's a lot to talk about Rashi Shita. The Ramban in his Hakdama to Iyuv, he's got a different shot in Tamimis, but I'm not going to get into that now. But there is a Ramban here. So what do we see from Rashi? Don't try to figure out what the future is. The problem with that is that it goes against human nature. I want to know what the future is because I'm nervous. Rashi says, well, if you're with a Kodesh Baruch Hu, there's nothing to be nervous about. But I'm not on that madrega, I'm not on that level. So I'm nervous about the future. Wouldn't it be nice if I could know a little bit about what the future has in store? Everybody has that, whether it's politics, you want to know who's going to win the election, he's going to win the election, she's going to win the election, it's going to be nafkaminas, what's going to be with this war, we're in the middle of a war, what's going to happen, what's with Eretz Yisrael, what's with all the Arabs, what's going to be, what's with my family life, what's with my business, people want to know. So the Ramban he calms it down a little bit. The Ramban calms it down a little bit. He says, Tomim tiyeh Hashem Elokecha, niyachad livoveinu. We should unify our hearts with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, like Rashi said. V'namin shehu levado oisa, v'hu yodeh amitis kol asid. Kodesh Baruch Hu knows what's going to happen. From the beginning of time, Kodesh Baruch Hu knew all 6,000 years, everything that's going to happen in the whole 6,000 years of creation, of existence. Kodesh Baruch Hu knew it all from the beginning of Ma'aseh Bereshis. And He's Levada, we say that's the Rambam in the first of the Ani Maimons, Who osa v'yasa. He's manid kol abrios. There's a song about it, I believe, right? There's a song, Ani Mamin. Hu levado oisa. Kodesh Baruch Hu is the only one who does it, and he knows the future. Umimeno levado nidrosh asidus. From a Kodesh Baruch Hu, you can ask the future. Not like Rashi. Rashi says, don't worry about the future. Ramban is a little bit more down to earth for us. I want to know the future. He says, okay, but go to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Mi Nevi'uv or mi Anshi Chasiduv, go to his Nevi'im, or to the Tzaddikim, and, right, Lomer the Urim Etumim, or whatever it is, you go to the Tzaddikim and to the Nevi'im, and they'll tell you, don't go after the Chovrei Shemayim. They have star watchers, they have they have these, the zodiac, and they want to know what's going in the future. And you're born into this sign of the zodiac. You're born into that sign of the zodiac, and this is good for you this week, and that's good for you this week. Don't listen to any of that. Don't listen to any of the stargazers, or in our generation, the people on the media who are they make millions of dollars telling you what's going to be, and then when it doesn't happen, they have a million reasons why it wasn't like that. Don't believe them at all. Ki Hashem Elokei Elokim. Hashem is he runs the show. He is in charge of everything. Elokim Elyon. He has control over all the spheres. Hakol Yachol B'Kol Mishana Marochas HaKoichovim. Even if a soothsayer or somebody, a good, they have now a guy, he made a prognosis of who's going to win the election. Right? And he's been right 9 times out of 10 already. Doesn't matter. Kodesh Baruch Hu can change the Marochas HaKoichovim. It's up to us. And if according to our schusim, so the Kodesh Baruch Hu would change everything. And the Mazolos, Kirtzono, May for Oisos about Kitzer. V'namin shekol haboyas tehiyena kafi hiskara v'adam lavoidoso. So it all depends upon how close we are to avodas Hashem. If we are devoted to a Kodesh Baruch Hu and his avodas Hashem, everything's going to work out in the proper way. If we're not, Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to change things. So we see, right now we've talked about it, I gave a shmooze several months ago, that we're in the middle of a world war. The Chafetz Chaim made a prophecy after World War I, before World War II, that there's going to be a World War II. And then he said, after World War II, there's going to be a World War III. We talked about that. I don't want to talk about that now. But we see that we're in the middle of something big is happening. What is this called? This is called Ikvus de Mashiach. This has been going on for many, many years, that people have been thinking about. We have a mitzvah to believe in Moshiach. We have a mitzvah to believe in the Moshiach. The Rambam, where's the Rambam? Here it is. The Rambam in Shmona Prokim, his Hagdama, in the Hagdama to Perish Mishnayos, he brings the Yud Gimel principle, the 13 principles, and the 12th principle that we say at the end of the Siddur, at the end of Shacharis. At the end of Shacharis, it's got the Ani Mamin B'Emunah Shlema, B'Bias HaMashiach. They have a song about that also. Ani Mamin, right? B'Bias HaMashiach, V'afal Pi Sheyisma Meya, Im Kol Zeh, Achaka Lo B'Chol Yom Sheyavoi. This is Yemois HaMashiach. We have to believe it, that he's going to come. He's not going to be delayed from the set time. Now he says a very important principle, which I will set forth right now at the beginning of this talk. Mishim istapik bo, anybody who doubts this, Oh, nismayed etzlo mailoso. He doesn't feel it's so important. The Bias HaMashiach. Kofar b'Torah sheyad boy Torah b'ferish b'parshas Bilam b'parshas Atem Nitzavim. Kadosh Baruch Hu has set forth that there's going to be the Mashiach is going to come. Where did he do it? In Parshas Bilam and in Parshas Nitzavim. We'll see in a second. And a person who doesn't believe it, he's kofar b'Torah. That's an amazing zach. If you don't believe in Mashiach, you'll belittle it. You're kofar b'Torah.
Just want to know who he is, or which. Bad. Obviously. Timani, Litzbah. No, Litzbah. That's the whole point.
He'll be a man. He'll be whoever he is. He'll be a man of all seasons, and everybody will be attracted to him, and everybody will see in him.
Suadaka, Rebbe. That's all I want to know. Who's wrong?
Huh?
Yeah, Suadaka. This week's parsha. It's one of us has to be wrong.
Both.
Let's not get into it. That's a big. You're asking a question. Will he paskin shilas like that? Will he change things? We have sveikas. That's a good question, and that doesn't matter to us whether he will paskin. Maybe he will paskin. We need a novi. It's not necessary. We have to know that it's not necessarily true that the Mashiach is going to be a novi. He's going to be a melech, and he may not be able to paskin that shaila of it's an aleph or a hey petzua daka in the Torah. Maybe we need Eliyahu Novi to paskin that. And he'll say that this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wrote in the Torah. The Mashiach is going to gather in the exiles. He's going to gather in the exiles, and he's going to bring a new era. Where do we see this? We have to believe it. This started in the first place that's mentioned. Believe it or not, is the concept, the nevuah about the Mashiach is 3,000 years old. In Parshas Balak, Bilam saw the future. Bilam saw the future. Arenu v'lo ato, I see it, but it's not now. Ashurenu v'lo korav, is very far away. Dorach koichav miyakov, there's going to be a star pouncing, treading out of Yaakov. Becomes shevet mi Yisrael. Mochatz pasei moyav is going to just stamp out. He's going to smatter the pasei, the edges of Moab and Karko Kol B'nai Shes. All of the goyim, he's going to walk all over them, and he's going to be a mighty king. He's going to be a Melech ben David. Now this has to happen. So the Rambam, now he lived, he lived like 800 years ago, 900 years ago. He lived he lived in, at that time when he wrote this, he wrote the Igeris Taman. He was in Cairo at that time. He had run away from Spain because of the Islamic fundamentalists, the Almorahads, I forget the exact name of them. Almorahads, yeah. They were like Hamas and Iran, like they are today. They have always had these Shiite fanatics. So they had taken over. They had ruined the golden age of Spain, and the Rambam had to run away from them. So he ran to Morocco and across he went east across Africa until he got to Cairo, and he lived in Egypt, and he was the physician of the Sultan. And he got a message from Yemen, from Taman. They were being persecuted by the same group and being told you have to convert. And then there were a couple of Meshugoyim who said that, they were the Mashiach, and they knew a little bit about Torah, and they started quoting psukim and saying, and prophesizing. And he says, don't listen to any of them. Don't worry about it. You should know. But one thing you should know. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he let us know Aida Yeshaya Hanovi, and through Daniel. We have it, we're going to see in Parshat Nitzavim. but in Yeshaya and Daniel, the Rambam says that we learn about the Mashiach coming. And we have a Yesoid Gadol. He wrote in this Igeris Teiman. This is an Igeris Teiman. He wrote this. This Igeris was very important because it saved the Yemenite Jewry. They were going off. They were losing their faith. The persecutions were terrible. And they took it to... Way before. That was in the 1400, what?
1666.
Yeah. This is in the 1200s. This is in the 1200s, and Shabtai Tzvi was in Europe. This is. Well, he went around. He went all over. We
always had those people.
We've always had these fake messiahs, fake Mashiachim. No, but he saved Yemenite Jewry, and because of this letter that he wrote to them, strengthening them, giving them chizuk, they became a very, very strong frum community to this day. The Yemenites to this day are very, very strong in their Emunas Yisrael. Very strong. It's all because of the Rambam's letter, the Igeris HaTeiman. And he writes in here, in the Igeris HaTeiman, Yesoid Gadol mi Yesoidi Emunas Yisrael, it's impossible that the Mashiach is not going to come. And then he's going to end our embarrassment. Right now, everybody's coming down on the Jews. It's called the Cherpa Seinu. Everybody's coming down on the Jews. They're stamping all over us, trampling all over us, and looking down on us and denigrating us. It's going to end because the Mashiach has to come. He's going to end the Golus, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu has promised us in Bilam. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave a nevuah to Bilam. I just read it. Asherenu v'lo korov. He's got to come. He's got to come. And then in Parshas Nitzavim, where's Nitzavim? Which is coming up. This is Kitzeitze. Here it is. Parshas Nitzavim. We're going to have that in a few weeks. We look around us and we see how many frum Jews are there. Barely 10% of the Jewish population is Shomrei Shabbos. Barely. Maybe it's 8%. Maybe it's 10%. I'm not sure of the exact figures, but most the major majority of Jews are either Reform Jews, or worse than that, they're atheists, or they're not even atheists. They're mamish like goyim, acting like goyim. They believe like goyim. So we have so many people. And here in Eretz Yisrael, they're all lefties. I think the majority. Look at the majority of Jews. They're leftists. Then they're fighting. Okay, well, they're not Shomer Shabbos. And even the righties are not. They also don't like us so much because they don't like the religious coercion. So in Parshas Nitzavim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a promise. The Shavto Ad Hashem Elokecha is going to happen, a time when you're going to return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the Parsha of Tshuva. That's why we read it before Rosh Hashanah. V'shamata b'koiloi. V'shov Hashem Elokecha eshavuscha. He's going to bring back all the people, the dispersion. Not the way it's being done now, that he's bringing back all the Golis, but they're coming back for political reasons. They're not coming back because they're for Emunas Yisrael. Right? No, he's going to bring, Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring us back. Eshavuscha v'richamecha v'shov v'kibescha mikol ha'amim asher hafizcha Hashem Elokecha shama. He's going to bring us back. Umol Hashem Elokecha levavcha. And he's going to do a bris milah. He's going to do a new bris on our hearts. He's going to change our hearts, and we're all going to go back. And Klal Yisrael we'll have a mass tshuva movement. It's got to happen. That's what the Rambam says. From this pasuk in Nitzavim, it has to happen. It's been promised.
Rabbi, I'm a Torah Jew. I'm living great. I'm in Yerushalayim. What do I need this for?
Do you have the Sanhedrin? No. Do you have the corporate?
I'm living
Do you
great
have?
in Muncie. Muncie's great, Rabbi. I'm doing all mitzvahs. I'm giving tzedakah.
That's a big problem.
I have a pool.
Yes.
I have a mud room in Lakewood. The Rob doesn't even know what a mud room is. It's where you put your
You
clothes
you
in.
said it. You said it. You said it. It's hard for me to get into what it will be different once the Moshiach comes, and we're looking forward to a first of all, it'll be a malucha of a malucha based on Torah. The Melech will follow the Torah. The whole country will be shomer Torah mitzvahs.
There will be a melech. There's going to be a.
There's going to be a Melech, not a democracy. Not a democracy. Democracy is look at what they're doing. This.
Democracy.
Rav Elchanan Wasserman. Rav Elchanan Wasserman. This before World War II. So he wrote a kuntres. He wrote a kuntres all about this, and he says the avodah zorah today. In those days, it was communism, Bundism, socialism, all the isms, and he mentions also Zionism. All the isms, which are all the nationalisms, these are all they became avodah zorah. People attached themselves to it like it was a religion, like right? It became a religion. So communism became a religion, socialism became a religion. And that's what these people do. And he says at the end of time, it's going to be like in Yetzias Mitzrayim, Ubelohayim es Shvatim. I'm going to do judgment against their gods, and all the gods are going to be destroyed. And if we look at them today, communism is bankrupt, socialism is bankrupt. Any country that went socialist has become bankrupt, literally. Fascism is bankrupt. Zionism, it doesn't exist anymore. It's neo-Zionism. It's Zionism. It's the third generation Zionism. All the isms are all bankrupt. They've all gone, except for one of the isms that is still sort of hanging on there, called democratism. And Chonim Wasserman says, well, democratism will eventually also fall, which we see today, that it's eating itself up alive from within itself. It's working against itself. The Arabs are using democracy in order to destroy democracy. And the leftists are using democracy in order to destroy democracy, because the leftists they're not pluralists. They say we're pluralists and we believe in everybody, and as long as you agree with me, we believe in you. So they're dictators. And that's what they're doing, and they're using democracy to create their totalitarian governments, or the Arabs are trying to use it to destroy democracy. So democracy is gone. So it's only going to be the only thing that can happen that can save us is Melech HaMashiach, which is Al Pi Torah, and he will know exactly what to do. We're going to have Nevi'im again, and we're going to have all the laws. We're going to bring back the Beis HaMikdash. We're going to have the Korbanos. And it's going to be, we're going back to the way it's supposed to be, and your spiritual life, we're so hardened, we don't even feel a spiritual life. We're so involved in our business, in our materialistic. You won't need materialism if you follow the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give you all the good. It's going to be a wonderful, the Eretz Zovas Cholav Udvash. You're going to have a land full of milk and honey. First of all, everybody's going to come back to Eretz Yisrael. Everybody's going to come back to Eretz Yisrael.
Right, I have a $4 million home in Woodmere and a $10 million home in Miami. What are you talking about, Rebbe? I have it already.
You have material. Okay,
I have Tom's River. What do I need more than that?
You don't have it. You have these people have sorrows. They can't get the kids into school. They have business problems. They have problems with the goyim. It's you think it's good, but it's they have, how many people have sorrows? You know, the biggest industry today is antidepressant pills. You know, and ask any family. You know, it used to be they had one psychologist per family. Now they have 6 psychologists per family. One for him, one for her, one for each of the kids, and one for group therapy. Why are they going to psychologists? They're miserable. With all the money, with all the swimming pools and everything they have, and a car for every kid in the family, right? They're all miserable. The thing that makes you happy is going to be is Torah. Living a Torah life and having Torah values is what makes you happy. And that's what's going to make us happy, and that's we have to dedicate ourselves to Torah. That's a different shmooze for a different time. But it's going to, just one second. We see now today, I discussed this several months ago, it's been, we want to know, like we see from the Ramban. Ramban says, you want to know what the future is. You want to know how to handle, because things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. There's going to be an upheaval. If you think 1929 was a disaster, I'm afraid to think about what's in store now on the world economic market, because something big is about to happen. First of all, we see 3,000 years ago, the Rambam says in his Ageres Taman that now we have a war between Yishmael and Edom, Europe against the Arabs, that was already predicted by Yeshaya Hanavi. That was 3,000 years ago, and Daniel, that was 2,000 years ago. That's a long time ago, and they predicted there's going to be a battle between Yishmael, the two children grandchildren of Avraham Avinu, Yishmael against Esav, against Edom. There's going to be a major world war, and it's coming. And where else? Moloch is a different issue. Yeah, but it's a different. It's a worse, because that's total rebellion against Hashem. These people are not necessarily rebelling against Hashem. It's a power struggle. The Arabs believe in Hashem, but they believe in the wrong concept. It's a power struggle. They want to take over, and they want to take over. Amalek is the epitome of atheism, of denial. That's a different milchama. That's also going to happen. Then we have Rebbe Elazar. I mentioned this several months ago, that we have Rebbe Elazar Agadol in Pirkei Rabbi Elazar. So he talks about how the final, how Yishmael is going to take over Eretz Yisrael. And then 2 generations after him, Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar also talks about Yishmael taking over Eretz Yisrael. And he says, it's very interesting. Now, with Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar, I brought this because the Hagor of the Yonasan ben Uziel. Yonasan ben Uziel lived at the same time as Eliezer Agadol. And he talks about the war between Edom and Yishmael. That means he lived 2,000 years ago, right after the Churban Abayis, Yonasan ben Uziel. In the Zohar, it talks about it, and it says that since Yishmael, I mentioned this several months ago, Yishmael had a bris milah, so the Malach, the guardian angel of Yishmael in Shemayim for 400 years, argued with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, it's not fair that Yishmael, who's the son of Avraham Avinu, does not have a chelik in Eretz Yisrael. After all, he's the son of Avraham Avinu. Why didn't he get a Yerusha? So the Kodesh Baruch Hu answered, okay, I will give it him, Eretz Yisrael, when the land is shomem, when it's desolate from anything. If you take 400 years from Shimon Bar Yochai, Shimon Bar Yochai lived approximately the year 200. 400 years later was around the year 600, 650. That's when they built the mosque. That's when Yishmael took over Eretz Yisrael. And Yishmael had Eretz Yisrael for 1,300 years. 1 year for every year old that Yishmael was when he had a bris milah. 100 years for every year that Yishmael was old when he had the bris milah. He had the bris milah when he was 13. So for 1,300 years, the Arabs had control of Eretz Yisrael, but it was totally desolate. Nobody wanted to be here. Mark Twain came to Eretz Yisrael, and he says the place is a desert. The place is a desert. It's desolate. There's nothing here. Just sagebrush, cactus, and sand, and dust. There was nothing here. Their schus is over. In 1940, after World War II, Kodesh Baruch Hu created World War II for a purpose. And after World War II, Kodesh Baruch Hu, something switched. And he did a major play. Kodesh Baruch Hu did a major, this is a grand scale mapecha, grand scale upheaval in the world order. Kodesh Baruch Hu saw that the Satan was very annoyed about this nevuah that Klal Yisrael is going to be coming back to Eretz Yisrael. He was very annoyed that there's going to be an ingathering of all the people, of all the shvatim are going to come back. Everybody's going to come back to Eretz Yisrael. There's going to be an ingathering, and we're going to create a new Jewish kingdom. And the Satan was very upset about this. He fought it tooth and nail. What does the Kodesh Baruch Hu do when he sees the Satan is going to start fighting all of his plans? The Satan has a koyach. We don't understand how that happened. The Kodesh Baruch Hu can outsmart the Satan. He's more powerful than the Satan. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu deals with the Satan, like we see by Rosh Hashanah. Like he hides when Rosh Hashanah is. We don't announce it, and then gets confused with the Satan, and then we stop blowing the shofar, and it confuses the Satan, and then we blow the shofar twice on Rosh Hashanah, and he confuses the Satan. How does the Satan get confused? That's a different thing. But Kodesh Baruch Hu is out to confuse the Satan. Kodesh Baruch Hu did a major sneak tactic. Where do we find sneak tactics? By David HaMelech. Whenever it comes to the Moshiach, David HaMelech, there's always a sneak tactic. What was the sneak tactic? He already back by Lot. Lot. He knew that the Moshiach, the Ben David, is going to come. Lot had a certain schus. Lot had a certain schus. He was the nephew of Avram Avinu. So he did his nus, which is a Maisa Nevala, a Maisa Vera, between two daughters of Lot. And from the daughter of Lot, she named her son Moab. She named her son Moab, that came from that illicit relationship. So that was the first sneak tactic, that it came from a Chora Maisa Vera. And then her descendant, Rus, or his descendant, Moab's descendant, Rus, did tshuva. She became a Giyaris. She became a Giyaris, and she became an Almana. And she came back to Eretz Yisrael. And she met Boaz. And Boaz saw in her the Sidkis, and he realized at that time there was a type of yibum that could be done for her husband and her father-in-law, that they needed yibum because they were childless. So Boaz was ready to do it was not an official yibum, of a brother, but there's a concept in Kabbalah of a yibum, of a relative marrying the almana, and the son has got the schusim. So Boaz married Rus, and people had a lot of tainas on him because it says Moavi lo yavoi. A Moavi is not allowed to come into Klal Yisrael. Now, we have a Kabbalah from Shmuel Hanavi. Shmuel Hanavi is after Boaz. Shmuel Novi is after Boaz. Boaz had a Kabbalah. There was a Kabbalah halacha Moshe Sinai. Moavi velo Moavis. So he was allowed to marry a Moavis. Not everybody accepted that Kabbalah, that halacha Moshe Sinai, and there was a lot of tainas on him. So David HaMelech, Yishai was a descendant of Boaz, and this is really for Shavuos. There's a whole story in Shavuos all about Yishai. Yishai was a tzaddik, and he was worried about this machloikis of Moavi and not Moavis, whether it's a proper halacha Moshe Messina or not. And
Because he's in the family.
he was it was negayah to him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not allowed to. He's descendant of a Moavis. So maybe he's not allowed to marry a Jewish girl. But he had already married. He already had 7 sons. He said, but he decided he's not going to, he decided no more. He separated himself from his wife. And he was afraid. He didn't want to be machshel his wife in an avera. Just like by Yehuda with Tamar, Kadosh Baruch Hu put a koyach hataiva into the tzaddik Yehuda. Kadosh Baruch Hu put a koyach hataiva into Yishai. He was a tzaddik. He says he was one of the 4 people who never really, he shouldn't have died. He was such a tzaddik. He didn't have any yetzer hara at all. He didn't have any averis at all. And he shouldn't have died. He only died because of the Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Adam Rishon, you have to die. So he was one of the 4 tzaddikim. And yet, Kadosh Baruch Hu put a malach hataiva, and they had a shivcha, slave girl, and he was Tavea, the slave girl, that he wanted to be with her, because he's allowed to be with the slave. He thought it was mutter because he was a Moavi, not really allowed to be with a Jewish girl. And the slave girl, she was from. She'd been brought up in the tzaddik's house, so she went and told her mistress, Mrs. Yishai, and this is what your husband did. So they made up that he's going to go into the bedroom, and she's going to slip out, and Mrs. Yishai is going to slip in, and that's what happened. And Yishai thought he was sleeping with his slave girl, and it was really his wife. 3 months later, she's pregnant.
Need seven.
3 months later, she's right. 3 months later, she's right. So what's going on here? 9 months later, she gives birth to a son, and so I was never with my wife. The kid's a mamzer. All the brothers said our brother's a mamzer. So, but they said they wanted to kill him, but you can't kill a mamzer. What we do, you make him a shepherd. Let the lions take care of it. But you hear how Kodesh Baruch Hu is arranging everything in the back door, switching everything around with all sorts of illicit, it looks like it's aveiros, in order to outsmart the Satan. The Satan shouldn't get wind of this, and he's going to try to undo everything and try to kill David HaMelech. David HaMelech is a mamzer. That's what the Satan thought. And here's David HaMelech, and he's out, and he's a shepherd, and he's communing with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and he was a big genius, and he was red, he was like Esav. Everybody thought he was like Esav. He thought he was a murderer because he was ruddy, right? And he's the one that's
Don't trust the right hand.
right, yeah, right. And then Shmuel and Navi was told to go get anoint a king from Yishai. He went through all the 7 sons, and he says, "Oh, he's great. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, "I see right through him. I see right through him." And he went through the 7 sons, and there's no king here. Kodesh Baruch Hu rejected them all. You got another one? Is there another? Yeah, the guy, the kid, he's out in his fields. Bring him in. Kodesh Baruch Hu said, "He's the one." That's how David HaMelech became king. The back door. Everything. The Kodesh Baruch Hu always arranges things good things to outsmart the Satan, to trick the Satan through the back door. Why does he have to do it? Kachsha Maisa. You see, he does it. He does it by the Satan, by Rosh Hashanah. He tries to outsmart him and trick him, and we stop blowing the shofar. Start blowing the shofar twice. Now, Kitzer he doesn't announce when Rosh Hashanah is. Something stupid. I don't have an answer for that. We can't understand everything when it comes to Olamas El Yoinim, but that's the situation. So what's happening now? So Kadosh Baruch Hu, in the ingathering of the exile. And we have who's running the Klal Yisrael? The leftists. All the leftists. I have it here somewhere. Let's see. Oh. When they announced, I can't find it. When they announced the Balfour Declaration, what was going on? What was going on in Europe? You'll read Avigdor Miller's new book, or it's an old book that's been reprinted, right? It's all about the reasons for the Holocaust. It's all the leftists and all the anti-Jewish, anti-religionists, and they had started. They were destroying Klal Yisrael, and now they're trying to do it again here in Eretz Yisrael. They're rising up. All the leftists and even even the writers who are the anti-religious. The country is anti-religious. The world is everybody is anti-religion. Everybody is anti-religion. So when the Balfour Declaration was declared, the Chafetz Chaim says, how can we build a Eretz Yisrael based on atheistic leftists? They're atheists. How can they rebuild Klal Yisrael? It's not possible. And I'm saying, Al Pi Seichel doesn't make any sense. This is not the way we were looking forward to. We were looking forward to an ingathering of the exile. Of everybody coming to the Moshiach, everybody becoming frum, the whole world, a mass tshuva movement, and it's the opposite. They're all coming, and what did they do? They brought in all the Sephardi kids, and they made them all fry, and the Shoma Hatzair. They took over. They had an ingathering of all the exile, and they ruined it. You have 1 million kids who don't know what Shema Yisrael is. They're being taught kfira. They're being taught heresy in the schools. There are fights, and now they want to. Now they're fighting to draft all the yeshivas and all the Bnei Torah. They want to take away the subsidies for the care centers, the ma'onot. They're all anti-religious leftists. How can you build a country in anti? That's exactly it. It's exactly it. Same thing by David HaMelech. Since this is Nogeah to David HaMelech, this is Nogeah to the Mashiach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to do it through the back door. That the Sultan should allow it to happen. He allowed the ingathering of the exile, right? Everybody's coming to Eretz Yisrael, and now France is beginning to immigrate to Eretz Yisrael because you can't live in France anymore. And soon England is going to immigrate over here because you won't be able to continue living in England. It's getting very, very bad over there. The Muslims are taking over England. And just wait till they take over Michigan and New Jersey. And the Muslims in New York, forget about it. You can't walk around with a yarmulke in New York. It's Lakewood, they think that they're safe because they're out there. They're not safe also. It won't be safe anywhere. And it's going to be an ingathering of the exile. So if you want to know what's going to happen, one thing I can tell you, We daven every day. We daven every day. In the first bracha, we have a bracha, we say, have a bracha for the Moshiach. You know that? In Ovis, we have a bracha for the Moshiach. Umevi goel livnei v'nehem leman shmoi biyahavo. Think about it. When you daven mincha, when you daven ma'ariv, we're going to daven mincha soon. Umevi goel livnei v'nehem leman shmoi biyahavo. What's pshat? So the Torah says, this is Rabbi Chanan Wasserman brings this down in his mimer, Kovis Maimorim. Person's promises somebody, I'm gonna give you a present. I promise to help you out. I'm gonna give you $10,000. I'm gonna give it to you, or whatever, a house, a car. He promised him, and the recipient is a no good knicker. He's a kafui toiv. He's got bad midas, and he just urkles the giver. I mean, like he's bad manners to the giver. I mean, like it's terrible. It's terrible, and he doesn't really want to give him anymore. But you promised. All right, I promise. Here, take it. If you don't do nice to the person who's giving it to you, he'll give it to you because he promised. He'll give it to you reluctantly. He'll give it to you angrily, without any ratzon. Because Baruch is not like that. We have not been faithful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In all the years, look what's going on now, the Klal Yisrael, us, but Baruch Hashem, we have to continue. Our group of Fruma people. What does HaKadosh Baruch Hu have in this world except the Charedim and the Shomer Shabbos? Who does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want in this world? There's people who are Shomer Shabbos, the Dati people and the Charedi people. They're the only ones. All the other Jews, the majority of the Jews, 80% of the Jews. I think I saw. It says Chamushim Yotzu Me'eretz Yisrael, right? It says only 1/5. It means 80% got lost in Mitzrayim, and it says how exactly the way it happened then is going to happen now. 80% of the Jews are lost. We've turned our backs on the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Klal Yisrael turned our backs on the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu has never turned his back on us. Umevi goyel livnei v'neihem, he's going to bring a goyel to the bnei b'neihem, the children of Avram Avinu, of the Ovis, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Livnei v'neihem leman shmoi, because he wants everybody should recognize the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Biava. And he's going to do it out of love. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us, and he wants to bring us back in love. And he's going to take care of us. He's going to take care of us. The Brisker Rav was asked, the Brisker Rav, mentioned what he heard from his grandfather, Rav Chaim Volozhin. A Gentile government official asked him, the end of the day is all you Jews, everybody knows about the Jews, believe we're going to take over the world. They're called Jewish supremacy. There's the Schwarza on YouTube, she said, no, Jewish supremacy, right? Yeah. So you think you're going to take over the world when Moshiach comes? The world is millions of people. They have armies. How do a little tiny nation is going to think they're going to take over the world? So Chaim Volozhin said,
AI robots?
Huh? No, not AI robots. No. We see together the way the Zohar says that Edom is going to fight Yishmael. There's going to be a fight between Edom and Yishmael. And so Chaim Volozhin says it's going to be a chicken fight. What's a good chicken fight? Imagine you have a pen of 100 roosters. 100 roosters in a pen. And you have one little chicken, one little tiny golet, and you throw her into the pen. She's petrified. She's got 100 these roosters. Everybody wants to take they want the hen. All the roosters want the hen. And they're all eyeing her and she goes into a corner and she's shivering. She's shivering in the corner. And then all of a sudden, they start attacking. All the chickens are pecking each other. It's a mass mama's chicken fight. It's a mass chicken fight. And after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all the roosters are dead. They killed each other. There's only one chicken that's left alive. The little hen standing in the corner. Didn't have to fight. Didn't have to do anything. The end of days, and this is what's beginning to happen, that Europe and the United States against Iran and Hamas and all the Arabs, they're going to fight each other. And you see them maneuvering, and they're bringing the American warships here, and in Iran and in Yemen, and they're all maneuvering, and there's going to be a big fight. And Israel thinks we're going to be the Natseach. You're not going to be Natseach nothing. You're not going to be Natseach nothing. You can't do anything, because Baruch is going to do it without Klal Yisrael lifting a finger. And it's going to be a mass battle, a world war, and they're going to kill themselves. And they're going to leave us alone. They're going to leave us alone. There's a mimer going around in the name of the Chafetz Chaim, and I looked it up. It's not the Chafetz Chaim. It's the Noam Elimelech. Roy Neuberger claims it's the Chafetz Chaim. I found it in the name of Noam Elimelech. The Rav Shlomo Zalman had a brother, Raphael David Auerbach. He asked his father, Chaim Leib Auerbach. Chaim Leib Auerbach had once met a gabbai who took care of the oven in a certain shul in the old city. He got up early in the morning, lit the oven in order it should be warm for the minion to come in. That's all they had, a stove, a wood stove oven. And he said that his father used to go to Rabbi Elimelech of Lezhinsk. And he was once there, so he asked him, tell me over some meisim that the Rabbi Elimelech said. So he told him over some meisim, and Raphael remembered one meisa. That's all he could remember, one meisa, of all the things that he had heard from his father. He says, the end of time. We think that Chevlei Mashiach means the birth pangs of Mashiach. Rabbi Elimelech says, no, it's the rope of the Mashiach. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to send a rope all around the world. And he's going to tell all the Yidden, hang on. Hang on to the rope. And then Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to shake the rope violently. And a lot of Yidden are going to fall off. They're going to say, I can't hang on anymore. And they're going to give up. And they're going to say, it's not possible. The things that are going to happen, it's not possible. Rabbi Elimelech says, hang on. After all is said and done, the only ones who are going to be left are those who are still hanging on to the rope. The rope is Emunah. The rope is Emunah in Mashiach. Ani mamin be'emunah shlema. Right? B'bias HaMashiach. If he delays, right? Im yismameya achak eloi b'chol yom shi'avoy.